Welcome, everybody, to the Wise Guys Sports Betting Show right here on the Picks and Parlays YouTube channel. And like every Tuesday, and it's Tuesday the 23rd of April, I am joined by my fellow Picks and Parlays sports betting experts, by the way. My name's Ross Benjamin. Their names, Sean Higgs and Jesse Schule. Guys, how are you?
Doing pretty good, Ross, but yesterday was a bit of a bust. 0-2 on the site. But can't complain. It's been a good year, good month, good week.
Sean, before we get to Sean, real quickly, folks, friendly reminder. Great special we got going on at picksandparlays.net right now. Choose any of your favorite two handicappers or any of your two handicappers of your choosing. They don't have to be your favorite ones. You might want to just choose who's hot, even though you hate those two people. It's all about making money. All you need to do is go to picksandparlays.net. /2-for-1 3-day pass for any two handicappers, $99. There you have it, right on the bottom of the screen there, folks. Picksandparlays.net /2-for-1 3-day pass, $99 for any two handicappers. Anyway, Sean, I didn't mean to steal your thunder there, but I wanted to get that out of the way before I forgot. How are you, my man?
Not too bad. And yeah, use the two. We have a leaderboard. Why wouldn't you get a 2-for-1 for $99? Whether it's us, a combo of us, somebody else, it's streaky. We're talking out fair with Lenny, right? It's streaky. You get a little, you're hot, you win, you lose. Had a winning day baseball yesterday, lost NBA pick, but it happens. What are we gonna do? It's all right.
Yeah. I mean, I went 0-for-2 yesterday in the NBA, and that's a rarity because I've been on a roll. I'm a rarity in the sense that I've been winning right along, but like Sean says, you win some, you lose some, you go on hot streaks. You hope your hot streaks far outweigh your losing streaks, and for all three of us, that's the case, or we wouldn't be here right now, and we wouldn't have been doing this over the last 20 years. But since 2022, my NBA playoff picks, 84-52, folks, all documented on each site I'm on. It's good for 62%, 18-8 run on the NBA overall, dating back to the end of the regular season. And then my basketball picks since March 19th, 40-21, 65%. That's the college basketball NBA combined. So been on a nice roll, but I did lose yesterday. And like Jesse just alluded to and Sean just talked about, we beat on our chest when we win, but we're transparent when that's not the case. We're talking baseball today. And we got 3 games. We're going to be looking at the Phillies, Reds, the Blue Jays and the Royals, and the Mets and the Giants on Tuesday, April the 23rd. And let's start with Jesse. Jesse, the Reds and the Phillies, we're looking at a possible rain delay, even a rain out here. But as we well know, the weathermen aren't always right. But in any event, we're looking at the matchup. Andrew Abbott is going for the Cincinnati Reds, good young left-hander, and then it's Chris Sanchez, the righty for the Philadelphia Phillies. And what do you got on this matchup for us, Jesse?
Well, Ross, you're right about the weather. We got bad weather in Cincinnati, but it was bad weather yesterday, and they managed to squeeze the game in. I got my fingers crossed that they'll be able to squeeze this game in. Philly won the game 7-0 last night. They've won 7 straight games overall. No thanks to their bullpen, though. This Philly team ranks dead last in the major leagues with an ERA of 5.61 among the relief pitchers. And you mentioned the starting pitchers. That is not going to be my focus point here. You look at Christopher Sanchez and Andrew Abbott, and it just looks like a wash, like they cancel each other out. Sanchez is 1-2 with a 2.53 ERA. Abbott is 1-2 with a 2.70 ERA. Both guys likely to go no more than 5 or 6 innings. And then we're into bullpens, and a lot of other factors are going to come into play. And with Philly having that struggling bullpen, with Cincinnati coming off a shutout home loss, Cincinnati had won 3 straight prior to that loss last night. And I like Cincinnati to bounce back, but I'm taking their team total. Looking at the team total, over 3.5. The total for the game is 8.5. I really don't see any reason for Philly to be a favorite, especially with that bullpen, especially with the wash and the pitching matchup. And I think there's good value on just over 3.5 team total for the Reds.
All right, the Reds over their team total of 3.5. The other factor too, Jesse, when you have weather conditions that are predicted, such as these, and the game does go off, there's a possibility there's a rain delay early on, and when that happens, if it's for any significant amount of time, managers usually don't come back with their starting pitchers, and you're going to get into your bullpen early. And as you said, the Phillies bullpen with their struggles, that makes that an even more enticing play going over the team total of 3.5, because now you're really pretty much cutting Christopher Sanchez out of the equation. That's, again, a hypothetical scenario. But Sean, any thoughts?
I actually like the Phillies here. I'm a streaky guy, so I got the Phillies as hot as anybody, 7 in a row, playing good ball, and their bullpen, it's not great, but again, they're playing excellent. I'm laying 120 here. I don't like favorites, but 120 I can get behind. A 120, 117, whatever it is here. I lean the Phils, but Jesse's the master here. It's his game. I didn't really delve into this one, but that'd be my take on it.
Yeah, and Andrew Abbott, the promising young left-hander for the Reds, who's coming off a nice rookie campaign. I mean, he's not exactly got off to a strong start. So a little bit of an uneven start for Abbott. So keep that in mind as well. All right, Sean, we're going to talk about your game, and it's the Blue Jays and the Royals. And the Royals continue to play good baseball. Right now, Toronto is a minus 125 money line favorite, and the total in this game is 8.5. Boy, oh boy, these Royals are hard to buck right now, especially as an underdog. But what say you, my friend?
Yeah, the Jays to me are a team that I think if things aren't looking pretty in the end of June, I think it's time to bust them up. Like, this is year 3 of Barrios and Bissett and Gausman and the whole crew here, and Vladdy's a free agent. And they're 13-10. It's not like they're the sky's falling kind of thing, but expectations are a lot higher here. But I'm going to look at the under in this game, 8.5. Gausman, you look at the ERA, you're like, wow, he's terrible. He had 2 bad starts. The Rockies and Yanks hit him hard back-to-back. But other than that, I mean, he had 9 innings, 2 runs in the other game. So I'll chalk a bad start up to just a bad start, especially versus the Yankees, a team that he had really kind of dominated stat-wise. Michael Wacha, again, he's not a guy you love, but if you look at him, 5 innings, 3 runs, 7 innings, 0 runs. There's a 5-run game in there, but then there's a 2-run in 6. So he pitches pretty decent. And also, how about both teams, the bottom third of team batting average, so not hitting well all year, besides the fact that you have like a guy like Bobby Witt, who's a big star, and Vladdy Guerrero and Bichette. You got a lot of big names. Sal Perez, 40 home run kind of guy. Not hitting well right now. I got 2 solid pitchers, one Cy Young kind of guy in Gausman, but Wacha's been solid. Kansas City is a top 5 ERA team, if anybody didn't know. They're pitching. But, you could make fun of, like, oh, it's Kansas City. Oh, it's last year they had a guy lose like 19 games or whatever. Yeah, they're number 5 in ERA. I'm going to go under the total here. 8.5 combined. You look at these teams last few games. 9 of the last 13 for Toronto would have went under this, and 7 of the last 10 for the Royals would have went under this total as well. So weak hitting teams. I got 2 pitchers that I like. One more than other. Obviously, I like Gausman a little better, but I'm going to go under the 8.5.
Yeah, I don't blame you, because you look at Toronto and you can make a strong case right now. They're the most underachieving hitting team in baseball at this juncture of the season.
Even last year, last couple seasons.
I know, and you look at that lineup, though, Sean. They got some formidable guys in that lineup.
Last year, I thought that lineup was Braves-esque from top to bottom. Varsho and Kirk and Springer and Whit Merrifield's a guy who hits 300. Like, it's just a bunch of guys who hit the ball. Nothing. It's bad.
Yeah. And there's a guy, that Kirk guy, he's got the physique of Jesse, and he's not hitting his weight right now. Anyway, Jesse.
Good-looking guy. You're telling me he's a good-looking guy.
Handsome man.
Well, he must be, right? So anyway, boy, oh boy. Legend in your own mind. Go ahead, Jesse.
Do I have the physique of Steve Balboni? Am I Steve Balboni?
Steve Balboni, former Royal and Yankee. Anyway.
Maybe Jim Thome, Sean?
Yeah.
You could dress up as Jim Thome for Halloween. Get yourself an Indians jersey. Yeah. So just some observations. What Sean said makes sense. You look at Gausman, you look at that ERA and his record, and you're like, oh, he sucks this year. But fact of the matter is, he looks like he's turned the corner. 1 run on in 5 innings against the Yankees his last time out. So looking for, Gausman was great last year. He's a good pitcher. You expect, if he's coming off a good outing, you expect that to carry on
Yep.
here. At the end of the year, you expect him to be among the best in baseball. So I like that. But what Sean said about the team ERA for the Royals, I was looking at their bullpen numbers, and they're right around the middle of the pack. Not bad. But one thing that stuck out for me was their WHIP among relief pitchers was over 1.5, which is one of the worst. Yeah. So that's an indication to me that they've been stranding runners. They've been getting into jams and getting out of jams.
Yeah, they've been getting awful lucky.
And how sustainable is that? So I just wanted to point that out. That was I'm not saying that I don't like the bet because of that. I'm just pointing out that that bullpen is probably due for some regression. Negative regression.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because WHIP is a statistic that I lean heavily on when evaluating starting pitching and bullpens. And if those of you not familiar with the term WHIP, it's walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. And when you get into the 1.5 and above category, when it comes to WHIP, whether it be a starting pitcher or a or bullpen, sometimes it could be very deceiving what an ERA is if a WHIP is that high. And this is a perfect example of such, where the Royals bullpen, their ERA looks very good, but it's very deceiving because, like Jesse said, their WHIP is in the 150s. And that just, tells me that they've been extremely fortunate to getting by. And the best thing you said, Jesse, it's unsustainable. You just can't continue to put guys on base and give up hits and walks and keep wiggling out of jams. It's just a matter of time. The laws of probability will catch up with you. And anyway, Sean, any further take on what we said?
No, screw that damn WHIP, bro. I got a KC over win ticket, so I don't need no. I need them to actually improve. Like you're saying, it's unsustainable. I'm thinking they're going to get better, and this is the worst part of their season.
Right. That's the other part of the equation. You know what I mean?
They're not even playing good in their 13 and 10.
But see, I don't know. Again, when you see a period of time, it's now been 3 weeks or so, where they're walking and giving up too many hits in their bullpen.
That's going to come back. You'll get caught. You're going to get caught with your pants down.
But I got to see it first. You know what I mean? And granted, you could be the other side of the coin and say, well, look at their ERA despite their WHIP. That WHIP is not going to continue because they got too good of arms. You could look at it the other way, I guess. But anyway, Sean likes the Jays and the Royals to go under 8.5. I got a small lean here on the Royals, plus 107 in this game. So for what it's worth. All right, I'm going to look at the Mets and the Giants. And the Mets are a hard team to figure out, guys. They started out the year 0-5. And since then, they went 12-3 in their next 15 games. And now they've lost their last 2. But in any event, Luis Severino, the former Yankee, gets the start tonight for New York, and he's been really solid over his last 3 outings. He's got a 1.12 ERA, only averaging 5.3 innings pitched per start during those 3 outings. However, the Mets bullpen has been excellent over their last 7 games with a 1.71 ERA and an 0.95 WHIP. And also the fact that they've struck out 36 batters in 26 1/3 innings during that 7-game stretch. Logan Webb, last 3 starts, has really got it together. A little bit of a shaky start to the season, but over his last 3, 1.29 ERA, 0.95 WHIP, and more importantly, he's averaging 7 innings pitched per start. I say more importantly because he's given them a lot of innings, and he's protecting a bullpen that's been very vulnerable this year, meaning the Giants. So that's a key thing to look at. And for what it's worth, and the most insignificant stat or trend, whatever you want to term it as, that I'm going to give you is the Giants, since the start of last year, have gone 13-0 to the under when playing on a Tuesday. That's just circumstantial, folks. Anyway, I'm taking the Giants and the Mets under the total of 7.5. This opened at 8, came down to 7.5 for a reason. I'm looking at a low-scoring affair here. It's like a 3-2 type of game. Sean?
Sevy's pitching well, and this is, I liked him with the Yanks, and when he was healthy, Ross, the guy was solid.
Yeah.
Like he was a good pitch. I remember they signed him the contract. It was like a $10 million a year. I'm like, what a steal! Oh my God, this is $10 million. They're paying pitchers $25 million, but then the guy got hurt for the next 3 years or whatever. So I mean, I guess he was like, I got to take this money because I'm breaking down. But when he's good, and maybe this is perfect for him. Let him go 5+, and this is like the norm anyway for these pitchers now. There's nobody's gonna have 7 complete games and throw 200 innings anymore. It's a joke. I like the under though because Sevy's going to give you his innings, and the Webb is a stud. He's quietly a excellent. I'm going to say he's a top 5. People might argue top 5. I don't know. He's
at least
on a
top
better
5
team.
National League. Yeah.
He's fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, he's and at home he's ridiculous. How about, it's 130 is a short number. I agree with you on the under. I'm just going to start looking up maybe a Webb for the win at probably a +120, +130 because the offense for the Giants still a light hitting bunch, even though they have Conforto and they signed Olsen or Chapman, one of those guys. I get those guys confused. There's the same guy, those old Oakland guys. I mean, Wilmer Flores bats cleanup on his team. You got a problem when Wilmer Flores is your cleanup hitter. You can't do better than that, San Fran. Yeah. Holy cow!
And their bullpen is shaky right now. But like I said, Webb is giving them major innings over the last 3 starts, and he needs to be do that again because I don't trust San Francisco's bullpen. Although when you get to the back end of their bullpen, it's it's a little stronger than the front half. In any event, Jesse, they talk about $10 million being a steal. That would be for Jesse Schule. $10 million to pay Jesse Schule would be a steal. But, you can get his picks a lot cheaper than that over picksandparlays.net. And, that's a steal, too, because he's number 1 at the site in 2024. And, Jesse, tell the folks what you may have coming up tonight or throughout the week they could look forward to.
Ross, I'm looking for a new agent. Are you available? Because seems like you're the man for the job. What do I have available? Well, I have an NBA play testing a 12, and when I was shocked, I started going through my records. 12 of my last 13 top NBA plays have cashed. I was pretty happy to see that. I shouldn't say I was surprised, though. It's been a pretty good season with NBA. It's been a pretty good season with everything. And I do have a Major League Baseball play. And unfortunately, it's not 12-1 with my last 13 Major League Baseball. It's just a perfect 9-0. So, those are the 2 streaks we're testing today. But as far as this Mets-Giants game, I like what Sean said about the Webb for the win. Maybe a Webb strikeouts prop. With the Giants' bullpen being so bad, I could see them being tempted to, they're going to need some innings from Webb here if they want to pull this game out. So I could see him getting left in for pitching 7 innings and racking up those Ks and certainly getting the win. So that's a good look from Sean. But I'm excited about the action tonight. And I'm excited about Ross as my agent. I mean, I think he could do some really good work promoting me.
I other than my own picks being lucrative, being your agent might be a shade more lucrative. Anyway, Sean.
Well, Ross, if you can get me that $10 million, I'll give you half. I'm just putting that out there right now.
Yeah. Sean, I know that you like Wilmer Flores as the MVP in the National League this year. Other than that, what could the folks look forward to in terms of what you got going on this week or even specifically tonight?
I got a nice 3-pack of MLB off a winning day yesterday with MLB. So continue our hot streak there. And we got NBA and hockey playoffs. So we'll have something daily. So get a weekly pass, whether me or these young guy Ross and multimillionaire entrepreneur Jesse Schule. You could just follow.
Jesse's even more dangerous. He's coming off a vacation, folks. So his mind is well rested. And
ready to go.
Rumor has it he had a pretty good time during the past week. So, you catch that. Yeah. Anyway, if our producer, my man Detroit Lenny, would be so kind to put that promo up again. We have a special going on at picksandparlays.net right now. And all you need to do is go to picksandparlays.net /2 for 1 3-day pass for any 2 handicappers of your choosing. For just $99, folks. You can't beat that with a stick. So don't forget to give us a like on today's show. And if you have not subscribed to the Picks and Parlays YouTube channel as of yet, take a second to do so. Just hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. We'll be back next Tuesday with another edition of the Wise Guys Sports Betting Show with Sean Higgs, Jesse Schule, and Ross Benjamin. Until then, take care and God bless, folks.